Discord. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Toradora Discord server podcast. Your hosts today are Dark Trennow, and I'm always losing.
Hey guys, what you doing?
And joining us today, or rather rejoining us today, is Hip.
Howdy.
We're very excited to have Hip back, and also this is the first time Hip and Loss in the same episode.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Wow.
I haven't been here in a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been like a month since I've been on, I think.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah, I think it was like end of July, beginning of August, which was a month ago.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had a streak of CP Man hosts, and now Loss has returned to us. Even though his name is I'm Always Losing, the ones who were really losing were us.
God bless.
So, first thing we wanted to talk about, since it's the most recent, was the monsoon in Japan that has delayed the Nintendo Direct. First, obviously, very, very sad stuff in Japan. They've had a lot of natural disasters recently, I want to say. Or I'm not between like monsoons and I think there was an earthquake too.
Yeah, but the big thing was that tsunami because it hit like a nuclear power plant. I think
That was a while ago.
it was
Or-
like 2012, 2013. I think.
Yeah. I thought you were talking like within the last year. I mean, recently, like within the past 5 or 6 years, then yeah.
Yeah, let me look it up. Oh,
I thought there was something like this week.
there was
like
the monsoon was this week,
Yeah.
Okay.
but the tsunami was a couple years ago. Okay, yeah, the tsunami was 2011, but they're still reeling from that.
Yeah. You guys
So
have any
it's-
idea like what caused the monsoon? Was it like a hurricane?
Well, it's like monsoon season or whatever, so it's just like.
So it was just a really bad season for them.
I guess
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Because
Irma
we
too.
have a monsoon season here in Arizona, like around this time. I mean, I'm gonna guess it's not as bad as Japan monsoon, but it gets pretty bad. Like,
well, for one thing, it's not an actual monsoon. It's rainy
Well,
season.
yeah, I know, but we call it the monsoon season because literally any kind of rain is torrential downpour. Even if
Oh, really?
it wasn't a torrential downpour, which it is, it's basically like it literally you'll have flood warnings probably every other day when it's monsoon season.
Yeah,
like-
I
it's
live
like
in
a
Florida,
month,
and it's like
yeah.
storm season right now. Like when Irma hit, it was storm season.
Yeah. Yeah, but here it's literally no
Thankfully-
rain the entire year, and then maybe for a good 3 weeks you just get poured on, and then you get no rain for the rest of the year.
Do y'all have any agriculture in Arizona that's like their make or break season, is if they can get the right amount of rain in those 3 weeks? Or is
No,
it all
not
pretty
really. We
much
don't
like
really-
It's just too arid overall.
I mean, we have really good like canals and irrigation, especially because going off the Colorado River. I mean, we've basically sucked the river dry, but the reason is because all of that water is going places, mainly to agriculture, and a few other places. But I mean, it's not like California because they don't really have a major river, but all of our crops and everything that we do, I think we do citrus and we do cattle and we do cotton as well. And then we do copper, but that's not an agriculture thing. And none of
Wait,
those
so you-
really require too much water. I mean, I guess water would help, but we have a lot of like citrus groves, especially in kind of the middle of the state. Not, of course, not too far south because that's just desert, and not too far north because it's too cold. So it's kind of, yeah, that's mainly what we have. And it's never really a make or break thing. It's just kind of, if it rains more, and that's fine. I mean, I think I would imagine the only problem would be in residential areas. It would start flooding because the areas are not situated or like made in a way so it can drain a lot of water at once. So there will be about a good period of 2 weeks where every single park you go to is basically a lake because they don't have any drainage.
Ouch. I really like spending time at like really good parks, not like your average, like it's like one city block that's now like some fields, like actually really good parks with like trails and you're running and all that. Running
Funny,
tracks and,
funny story
nice
about
water.
that. So, I live right by CENTCOM, Central Command, for the U.S. military, MacDill Air Force Base. And so there's a park that borders MacDill Air Force Base, and I walk there sometimes. And so you know how it's like illegal to fly drones within 5 miles of any airport?
Yeah.
If as long as you fly it below the tree line, they can't detect it on radar. So I just
Huh.
fly a drone around and just like what the fuck you gonna do, dog? But I'm pretty sure they have like snipers and stuff. Like I've seen scope glint, stuff like that. So I get a little sketched out by it sometimes, and I just leave. But I haven't gotten like shot, so
Domestic terrorist losing.
I mean like, don't tell them I said that. They already have their eyes on me.
Yes, I will contact the military and tell them exactly what you said.
Centcom.com/tips.
CIA. Okay, but so I've had this idea. So you know how there's that like I want to say South Africa. There's a city that's literally like out of drinking water. Like they just don't have anymore.
Oh yeah, is it Cape Town?
I think so. I believe that's it. But all their drinking water is drained up. So this is what I've been thinking. You know, like glycolysis.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for Generalissimo, I don't know if you've taken bio yet. Glycolysis is when it's the breakdown of glucose. So the hydrogen bond
No, I'm aware.
splits from hydrogen. So it's two hydrogens and an oxygen that bond it together, and they break and form a water molecule. So I was thinking, what if you got everybody to donate like some cells or something? I don't know, and then created an environment that was like a human body. So then you just have them constantly make glycolysis, and you just make drinking water. You know
I
what
don't.
I mean?
I don't think that's how it works.
It's a bit more
Yeah, I don't-
complicated in practice, but
Wait till I'm gonna sell my idea.
give it 20 years and we'll look completely stupid hip when Loss is a billionaire from owning glycolysis farms and he just has racks upon racks of like cells.
But here's an even better idea for harnessing the power of the sun. So, you know
Dyson
how
sphere.
the solar system exists because of gravitational pull because of the mass of the sun is so great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you make a baby farm on Mars, and you just constantly launch dead babies into space until they start forming an orb. And they don't decompose, so they don't lose mass. So you just get a massive orb of babies. And you use the gravitational pull from the babies to draw the sun into the babies, and then just like use the natural resources that are in the sun from your baby orb.
Wait. How do you harvest?
I don't know. I'm not that far yet.
Okay.
I don't even think there's enough like you could produce enough babies with the Earth's resources.
Hey, we're looking
to
like
make
10 years
a
in the
mass
future. We could do
Sufficient
it.
enough to get any significant
Yeah, you need
motion
to
on the sun's
just-
part.
You need to work at SpaceX
Without frying the
and then
Earth.
bring
Just like
this idea
instead of blood
straight
drives,
to
have
Elon
nut
Musk.
drives. You know what I'm saying?
Instead of going to Mars for colonization, we just go there to make babies and then throw them at the sun.
Yeah, it would totally work.
I
think we did the math earlier.
Why does it have to be babies?
Yeah, that's an
Because
interesting
if it wasn't babies, you'd have to wait for them to grow. So if you want like immediate use,
Okay, why something living?
It takes 9 months though.
If only there were rocks.
but babies, it's like they can like look back from the future and be like, "What the fuck were we thinking?"
How can they look back if they're dead?
No, like our descendants, not the babies.
How are we gonna have descendants if all of our babies are going into this?
No,
super
those
project?
aren't like real babies. Those are like just genetically engineered babies. Real babies, we still have real babies. Those are just like tacked on
Oh
Mars.
my god! So you're
being
saying
launched at the
we
sun.
build like a Dyson sphere of babies around the sun?
Yes.
Oh my
Forget
gosh!
NASA, forget MIT.
Pre-
This is where the intellectual thought is happening.
I know,
right
dude.
here on the Toradora Discord podcast.
Why did Obama cancel the space program? I could have freaking joined. God,
Oh my gosh!
looks like I'm
Let's
joining
all
the
join
Space
the
Force.
Can you-
Space
can you-
Force
can you,
and
like-
fight aliens?
Tweet this at like Elon Musk or somebody. Get this out there. This needs to be set in motion.
What should we call it? One sec. Let me what is it called
Tomorrow's
when a
Children
large source of
Initiative.
fire is extinguished?
California breathing a sigh of relief.
The infanticide fire extinction.
Oh my god. Infanticide.
We'll solve overpopulation in the same problem. In the same
Bro, you're
solution.
right. I didn't even think of that.
Oh my
That is
God.
genius. Truly, truly genius. We're talking the facts here, folks. Toradora podcast.
So back to the monsoon.
I,
that
I was I was
started
I
all
was I was about to
this.
say I really like how I went from Nintendo Direct getting canceled to hurling babies at the sun in order to harness the resource of the sun, which is hydrogen and helium. So I mean, I guess it would work if you just want a crap ton of hydrogen everywhere.
Imagine the amount of party balloons.
I mean, well, no, you can burn hydrogen and use that as fuel, but then you just speed up global warming. Also, what did that? Are you
There's no global
extinguishing?
warming if the sun isn't there.
Yeah, well, I was about to say then we'd all freeze. Wait, is the sun extinguished?
So the Nintendo Direct was delayed. Now many see this as a curse, and in many ways it is. But this gives us more time to fine tune our predictions. What do you guys think we're gonna see?
To be.
In what capacity?
In Smash.
The pencil.
So, okay. The pencil. Sounds like both you guys are still thinking Smash Brothers, even though this is a general direct.
No,
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm gonna guess they're obviously gonna have Smash there. They'll have one really big thing, whatever it is.
I don't know though. 'Cause I could see a character reveal, but like I feel like they want to save Smash News for Smash Directs.
True.
Nah. I mean, I get it. They want to do the major news then, but I feel we're gonna get one thing, one kind of surprising thing, like
And a lot of the
that
time-
classic. Oh, here's one more thing at the very end.
Right.
And a lot of time at like Smash Directs, they show like new mechanics and stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel we'll
Yeah.
just get a character trailer,
I
or even
can
just a
agree with
teaser.
One
I'm
thing that I
also,
could
go ahead.
possibly see is Zone of the Enders, which is one of my favorite games, just got remastered on PS4 and PC. So
Mhm.
possibly a Switch release, maybe.
I thought it already had a Switch release.
It does not, because it was originally released on PS2, and then I got a remaster.
Okay.
So fingers crossed, phallus crossed.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty cool. I do think it's got to be a fairly substantial third party showing in this direct, because I really don't think Nintendo's about to rush out any more games this year. Like themselves, but like I'm not really sure what it could be. I'd hope they talk about the online service, since that's launching this month and we still know about as much about it as we did 4 months ago.
I'd say that
How
they're
much
gonna
is
say
it?
a
Like
little bit.
15 a year or something?
It's $20 a year.
That's not
Oof.
bad. That's not like PlayStation or Xbox, where
Yeah.
it's literally $60
Nah.
a year.
Same with Xbox.
I just hope they have something that really makes me want to pay for it, other than those NES games with multiplayer, because like I can already play Splatoon for free. I'm not in any rush to now pay to play Splatoon.
They missed such a good opportunity to bring back Virtual Machine or whatever it was called.
Oh, Virtual Boy?
Oh,
Yeah,
Virtual Console.
Yeah, Virtual Console. There you go. Not Virtual Machine. That's the computer software. Anyway, but I'd really, because you know how they had like N64 and SNES games on the Wii U, I think it was,
Yeah.
right? And they had SNES on the
Yes.
3DS. I think the Switch would be a perfect time to integrate like GameCube stuff.
Yeah, they did that on the
would
Wii.
hope so.
But because I remember when they first found out that Smash was getting released on Switch, was because they saw there was like a very small software update, and they looked at the things, and one of the things added in it was GameCube controller support. And that's like how they
remember that
originally like, oh, they're making a Smash, or it's getting remastered, one or the other.
I mean, I just think
I
it would be perfect to have GameCube games on it. I mean, it would really it would make the Switch like the Nintendo console to have.
Mario Kart Double Dash, more than
That'd
it
be
is already,
amazing.
honestly. Everybody
Yeah.
wants it. and they're not making enough of them either.
Yeah, I mean, they have a demand for it.
I know,
Easy
dude. I'm
money.
glad for Nintendo because the Wii U was like a big hit.
Yeah, I love Nintendo so much. They're my favorite gaming company, and I being there in the Wii U years and literally just being bored. Like, just sitting there and being like, wow, there's really nothing, coming in any capacity. And now to have the explosive excitement of the Switch is such a fantastic turnaround. And there's so much excitement in the community versus like the really constant sadness with the Wii U,
Yeah, it was
because
such a
even when
Yeah.
you
terrible
got something
console.
good with the Wii U, you would always kind of be like, damn, this is it for 8 months, isn't it?
The gimmick like got out of hand with that one because they're all about their gimmicks,
Yeah.
and they took it too far. We didn't need a second Wii,
What's
Nintendo.
Yeah, we really didn't. And what's sad is I really like that gamepad, and they barely used it. They barely used it in so many games,
Yeah, didn't
and
they
I would
release a
have
gamepad and then
loved.
like a month later just released a new Wii controller?
Um,
I
I
think
don't
the
remember
Pro
that.
Controller or whatever they called it.
Yeah, that'd be my
No, no,
guess.
like
Would
a
be it would
normal
be the
Wii
Pro
controller, but it
controller.
worked on Wii U.
Oh, all the Wii stuff works on Wii U. It's all compatible.
Oh, maybe
Like
I'm mistaken then.
Yeah.
the because the Wii wasn't much of a tech upgrade from the GameCube at all. In fact, the addition was the ability to use motion controls. Though, if I remember correctly, if this and I think it's true because when you look at the difference between Wii versus GameCube games, there was some graphical trickery going on, but it was still a standard definition. It just looked better than most standard definition stuff. Um, the Wii U was actually their first HD console. It took them until 2012 to get an HD console on the
Mm.
market, and that's when I kind of sit back and say, as much as I love the Wii, its lifespan was too long because it screwed the Wii U from the get go.
I mean,
You can't wait till 2012 to get HD out.
it came out in 2006. I'm pretty sure
The
oh
Wii.
06.
Mm.
Yeah.
And they only made games until like 2008, and then they just stopped making games for it. So you had like
No,
Brawl,
it had a pretty healthy stock
Twilight
till
Sword,
2010.
Twilight
Because
Princess
you had
rather.
Prime 3, and that was a 2009 game. Of course, you had Brawl. You had the Mario Galaxy games. I
Yeah, but
think where
like
they really screwed up was like when Skyward Sword was like the only thing I think people could identify Nintendo with for a long time. And
true.
it was, and I think that's when it was kind of like, maybe Sword really did take too long to get out on the Wii.
Mm.
Speaking of dying companies, Xbox is fucking dying.
They're pretty them and Nintendo both are really resurgent lately, though.
Xbox? How?
After I'd say they did okay. So I still don't think the most recent E3, this year's E3, was particularly good, but at least Microsoft knew what they were doing and put up a good showing of stuff and actually said, yes, we bought a bunch of stuff so we can do great next gen.
Not
Just please
Minecraft in
suffer through
4K.
3 more years of. Oh God, that was. That was the same year they had the Porsche on stage too.
Yeah,
They're
4K,
like the
4K,
Xbox One X is a beast,
1080p.
and so was this car, and then 4K for Minecraft. I'm like, why would you show Minecraft in a 4K game?
But yeah, I'm an Xbox native. It's right what I grew up on, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Did you have the
So
original Xbox?
it's kind of
You grew up-
sad, like seeing this happen. I had
Oh,
an
you did,
original
Hip?
and a 360.
What?
You had the original Xbox, Hip?
No, I had
did.
the PS1.
Ah, okay.
I got. Well, how did it go? I had a PlayStation when I was like really young, and then I think it was a PS2. The PS2 is where I played like all my like first games, my first real games that I played. And then
Ah, okay.
I remember my friend like gave me his GameCube or something because he didn't want it anymore. And I don't know how that happened. So I had a GameCube for a little bit, and then that was all I had for a little while. And then I got a PS3 like 3 or 4 years after it came out, and then yeah. But I mean, all the games I can remember I was playing on PS2 and GameCube.
Mhm. A lot of mine are that way too. Where I remember
Yeah.
PS2 and GameCube. I'd play a lot of the N64, even though that was a little before me. But I did have one, so I played a lot of that. I remember the big generation that when I'd say I've been in gaming a very long time just because I picked up the hobby when I was young and I stuck with it a lot more than I think a lot of other kids do. Um, but I remember like the one where I was like really, I'd say, became entrenched was the 360 Wii generation because I played so many games on the 360 and Wii.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
COD.
I remember that coming along, and I saw the PS3, and I was like, I can wait a little bit. I got plenty of games to play on the PS2 and GameCube. I think the first game that like I
Right.
ever remember playing was like Rayman or something. It was
I
like
had that on Game Boy.
Rayman,
yeah.
a truly dead icon.
I
Those last
mean,
few platforming games he came up
okay,
that were
let me
out
look up
like
which one it
in
is.
or like
Rayman.
his brand were really good though.
Yeah,
I think it was an educational one.
But it's
I
actually
lost you.
a pretty funny story about how so when I was probably like 6, I got an original Xbox and a PS2, and it's a pretty funny story
Attaboy.
about how I came across them. So my uncle, he's a biker and he runs a bar. So when I'm 6, he has to drive me home. I don't remember what it was. I think we like went to see a movie or something. Like he took us or whatever. So we're driving home and like I think I was talking about the movie. Like I was just being a annoying little bitch. And so he goes, "If you shut the fuck up, I'll give you this original Xbox and PS2 I have in the back of my car." Because it was like it had been a while since it came out. So I was like, "Oh shit!" And I didn't say anything till I got home, and he was just like, "Here," and gave it to me. And I didn't have a TV, so I couldn't play them. And then like a couple weeks later, I think it was my birthday, and first off, he gave me a DS game, and I didn't own a DS, so my parents made me sell it at GameStop. And then I got like the old Batman bubble TVs.
Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got one of those, and I was like, "We're in, boys." And so I mostly played original Xbox. Like Halo Combat Evolved was probably like my most played game as a kid,
There
or Star
you
Wars
go.
Battlefront original. And then
Oh,
So
yeah.
I
good.
got Zone of
So
the
good.
Enders on PS2, and bro, I played that so much. And then Star Wars: The Complete Saga. Hell yeah, Lego Star Wars.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
heck yeah.
that was lost. You had a great childhood.
Yeah, yeah. And then I got an Xbox 360 and Halo 4. I was a little late to that. Yeah. And I wasn't
Did
I
you
wasn't
skip
allowed
like
to play
3 in
Call of
Reach?
Duty for the longest time. And then I hit like
But Halo was okay.
did you guys have that phase where you would just like you could play for as long as possible? Like unless someone told you
Yeah,
to stop, you would not stop and you just played with your friends for like
yeah,
hours a day.
yeah.
I
I
hit
mean, I
that.
would
It
still
really
do
is
that.
remarkable.
Yeah, Black Ops
Where
2, dude.
it's-
I played that game so much.
like 6 to 8 hours. You just like, wow, I haven't left this couch. I've just been playing.
Yeah. That's around when I got a mic. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
you were that guy in game chat, weren't you?
um oh, dude, for the longest time, I didn't know the Kinect had like an integrated mic.
Mhm.
So I would just like be in Black Ops lobbies while my mom's vacuuming, and some dude's like, "Hey, shut the fuck up," and I didn't know he was talking to me because I didn't know I had a mic. But if back in the day,
I
bro.
used to have a friend who would just gargle on Xbox Live game chat. He'd just gargle as long as he could.
Did your friends ever do the thing when they'd be like, "Hey, what's the shape of Italy?" and then you say boot, and then they kick you from the party?
No, I
You,
They
you
would do
say a
that.
don't
shoe.
remember that.
Then they kick you anyways usually.
Oh my goodness.
Back in the day, man.
To bring it back to Nintendo, I think the most fond game like I have nostalgia for is Animal Crossing on the GameCube.
Really? Yeah, I could see you as an
Yeah.
Animal Crossing fan.
Yeah, I mean I still really like New Leaf and whatever, but I would just I was so amazed that like I could play this game and it would remember like how I would talk to the animals and remember things I gave them, and I just found that so cool. Like I felt like it just felt like I was welcome, and that was like a feeling that a game would never give me, because it would always be like, oh, I play the game, I beat it, I'm done. But Animal Crossing was like, even if I had everything, I would still get home every day from school and play for like, even if it was just like 30 minutes and just talk to all the animals or whatever, and just because I felt like, that was important. It kind of gave me something to do. I'll leave it at that. But Animal Crossing, and then I got a DS and played Wild World. That was really good. I remember catching the first. I remember I was like really interested in like catching like a coelacanth or whatever, and it took me like 3 or 4 years to do it. And I'm always gonna remember like that feeling of the little music playing, the jingle when you catch a fish. And I was like, that was a good day. But and then New Leaf is pretty good. It feels very similar to the other two. Not that that's bad; it just adds more. But when they do make a new Animal Crossing, I hope they do something different while still keeping that feeling of being part of like a community. Because that's the big appeal to me, is you feel like you're actually part of a community. But I hope they put like a new spin on it. I don't know if it'll be
You're
at
in
the
a
direct.
gang.
I doubt it. What?
Said you're in a gang.
You're in a gang. I mean, that's basically what working for Tom Nook in Wild World is. He makes you his slave, and then he gives you like a shirt, if I remember correctly.
Um, I have one extremely vivid memory of Animal Crossing. I don't know which one it was, but it was on the Wii.
City Folk, and I played that one for like a month or two, and then I kind of got bored. It was just the same. It didn't add a lot. I mean, it looked nice, kind of, but yeah.
So
Go
the
on.
memory. So I used to be a Cub Scout, flex up, whatever.
Heck yeah.
So I have like my pants on, no shirt, and the neckerchief thing, and I'm trying to like go to the city because there was like a secret club thing they could get into.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like I had all the stuff to get in or like something like that. I don't remember exactly. So I go to get in and my dad's like, "It's time to go." And I'm like, "I'm almost there. Give me a second." And he's like, "Let's go." And he throws my shirt at me and I leave. So while I'm gone, someone turns off the Wii and it didn't save any of
Oh.
the shit.
Oh.
So, and then I just never played the game again.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I think I had a similar thing when I was a kid. So like, I remember somehow I was at a friend's house and we were playing like Super Mario World because he had a SNES, I think, or some kind of emulator on his computer. I remember it was his birthday party and we were about to go to like the park or whatever, wherever we were going for his birthday. And we were like almost done with it, and the same thing happened. His dad was like, "Okay, it's time to go, guys." And we're like, "Wait a minute, let's finish." And then like he turned off the computer or whatever, and then I didn't play Mario World again until like 7 years later. Because I mean, I was like 6 or whatever. I didn't know how to emulate crap on my computer.
But I might.
Yeah.
So, you guys had Homecoming, right? That's not just a Florida thing. I don't even know.
Yeah. I believe it's in a at least U.S. thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's other nations as well.
So, I don't have much luck with the female gender when it comes to Homecoming.
Oh.
So I was thinking about
That's
it this
because
year,
you look like a female, Loss.
and fuck off, dude. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, should I even go? And then I was like, what if I just threw a Smash party at my house instead of going and just get all the weird nerdy people that aren't gonna go anyways, and just like play Smash Bros all night? And then I got like 20 people to agree, so it looks like that's what we're doing, boys.
Hey, that'd
Hey.
actually be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. Play some 6ix9ine, drink some apple juice.
Yeah, I mean,
Actual
I
apple
think I
juice.
went to the one homecoming dance I could go to with Mo. Although with like the winter dance and stuff, we just weren't interested in that. We didn't care, so we would just do the same thing. We'd hang out and play video games. And I remember, what game did we? I think we. What game did we play? I can't remember, but we beat the entirety of some game, and we're up until like 3 a.m. And I remember thinking at the very end that was so much better than going to a crummy dance and being tired after. But yeah, it was fun. I would
Yeah, every
definitely, I
time
would
I
definitely
go,
prefer that.
I get cucked really hard,
Oh,
so I'm not going to go.
yeah. I mean, like do you go to like a public school or a private school or whatever?
Public school.
Oh, then yeah, if I went to a public school, even if I did have Mo, we wouldn't go because I went to a private high school, so I
Hmm.
kind of I had that filter of everyone there is usually a pretty nice person and the events actually have some dignity. Like there aren't people like grinding on each other.
Oh
you
yeah,
know, the
that's
entire
definitely
time.
going on. There
Yeah,
was
that,
a
that
my friend sent me a video. There's a high school called Alonzo. It's not the one I go to, but there's just two people clapping cheeks in the middle of the dance floor, just straight up. Nobody's doing shit. And then last year at our dance, there was a guy selling liquor to kids, and he was supposed to be one of the chaperones.
jeez. Yeah, nothing like that happened. It was literally, I mean,
Where the
it could
hell do
get
you
crazy.
live,
The
Lost?
crazy stuff would happen after the dance when people went into their separate groups and went home. But at least at the
Yeah,
dance,
Yeah.
everybody had the sense of dignity. But yeah, that reminds me of with the liquor thing. So I was in a drama performance with my school, and there were a few people in there that I really disliked. Like I don't remember exactly what I disliked, but we went to like this like place where I forget, it was a restaurant where you only eat outside or something, or it was like a fast food place. I forget where it
Sonics.
was. It might have been Sonic. It might have been Sonic. But so we're hanging outside, and this guy literally just drives up in his car, and he's like, "Hey, you guys, some want some whiskey?" And we're just like, "No, thanks." And one of the girls who was really obnoxious was joking like, "Oh, okay, I'll take some." And the guy just like threw it at her, and then she just got whiskey all over and smelled like crap. And I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you're giving liquor to kids like that, and you're just giving it away, I don't know if that's necessarily just straight liquor. I would assume there might have been some nefarious deeds going
Intent.
on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised.
it was a little scary. I mean, the scary part was it was right next to my house too. I mean, of course there are going to be people like that in the area, but it was just usually the area that I would live in. It was like really safe. There was nothing going on. Like there would be cops, patrolling frequently around. Like you just see them in the neighborhoods hanging out or whatever. And it was just weird to see something like happen. I mean, I could see that happening, like outside of downtown because there's some pretty sketchy areas there. But like in the middle, and there were other people there too, and like surveillance and crap. So I mean, I don't know if he genuinely was like, "Hey, I'll be nice and give these kids some liquor," or if he just was like really
Crazy.
dumb. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. He looked really in bad shape too.
My general rule of thumb is that people that live in places like that, once they like, if they're the type of person that would like go crazy at a party or something, once they get a taste of that, they just like, it's way easier for them to get addicted to that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Especially so, I I'm not gonna name them for confidentiality, but the school I go to is rivals with another school that's in the richer part of town. Like there's like you
Mhm.
can so there's a street and
Blech.
it's a 4-lane road and you can see the wealth divide on the road between their school district and ours. Like it's that bad. So at that school, they are insane. Like there's a hallway and drug dealers own the lockers in the hallway and they just store drugs in there.
Jeez.
And so at our school, like there's like ratchet people and stuff, but they aren't like that. And then all the people that do that stuff, they're just preppy white kids.
Oh.
And so there's a guy, um, I'll call him Tim. I got in a fight with him one time. But so one of the richest parts of Tampa is called Davis Island. And
Mhm.
so he's driving down the street. His friend's driving, pretty obviously inebriated. He's hanging out at the top of a convertible with a pumpkin, and he throws it at like another person's car, and it's like a nice car. It's like a Beamer, I think. And he just smashes the back windshield, and they peel out. And this dude's just like from the suburbs of Tampa. Like he's not like TK or Chief Keef or something. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, I beat the shit out of him. By the way, I won. Don't worry.
So what else do you think is gonna get revealed in the direct?
Oh, that's I don't know.
Well, we were talking about dances. So what kind of music do you guys listen to?
That's a good question. I listen to lately. It's been mostly classic rock, but
There you go.
I love like that's the enlightened music genre is
There you
classic
go.
rock. But I
Any
also
specific
enjoy most
artists?
pop. I really like the Moody Blues, the Grassroots, Foreigners, very good. Um, a lot of my classic rock. It's mostly I like one or two songs from that artist, but those three, there's a lot of
Yeah.
return. Um, Dio, even though he's like like when he's like I'd say original metal, I guess. So it still sounds very like just heavy classic rock to me at least. Um, I've also enjoyed pop, though I listen to that a lot less now. And back during the edgy days, a lot of
Ooh,
EDM.
Beck. I like. So I have pretty strange music taste. I don't know if I'd say strange, just unique, I guess. Cause I'm either into really heavy punk, really heavy metal, like you can't tell what they're saying, and like the only way you can hear their music is through weird, obscure skate edits. Like I don't like the stuff Joe was playing in VC the other day. Like nah, man. And then I like rap,
I'm
like
afraid to
hardcore
find out
rap.
what he would put in VC.
So it's like I guess just really obnoxious stuff about murdering people is what I like. I guess.
All right. I would say my music taste is the polar opposite. I like very like quiet, quiet stuff. I mean, I'll really enjoy metal and whatnot if I'm in the mood for it. But usually, if it's just like my go-to is either legit just classical music. I'm talking like Bach and stuff and Gershwin. I mean, those are two very
Oh,
different.
actual classical.
Like I'm saying actual classical. I mean, the reason is that I mean, of course, there's bad classical music, but if you think about it, if somebody wrote in back in those times wrote a bad song, they just wouldn't write it. The people writing it down for us. The reason we see it today is because the songs were so good that people would keep them down, and so any bad songs just wouldn't get written down, to be passed down because you want to pass down the stuff that's good. So you already have this filter of you're not really going to encounter anything that's super bad because if it's bad, then people a few hundred years ago wouldn't have bothered at all. So it's literally you basically are listening to the best of the best of that at that time, and I think that's great. Um, I mean, music to me is a way of like, I'm sure to most people too, is just emotion. A different way of um, kind of portraying emotion besides using words, and I think classical does that really well. A lot of modern too. Don't get me wrong. I like a lot of. I listen. I like artists. How do I put it? I like a little bit of new stuff. Like I like the artists like Snail's House and stuff. That kind of music. A little bit of like quiet, either quirky, sort of music. I like classic rock too. Like you were saying.
Attaboy.
Yeah,
You
classic.
should try. Have you heard Steve Lacy?
That sounds familiar.
He does like really relaxed, like indie rock type stuff.
Yeah,
And
indie rock's.
then
I enjoy it. I mean, some indie rock I can't stand, but usually if it's just relaxed and I can stand it. And usually, I don't like music that doesn't have a structure or like a melody to it. If it has a recurring melody, then I can usually get into it. But if it's literally, I mean, I don't mean to call out rap by saying this, but the reason I don't really listen to rap is because even though it has structure, there's not really a melody I can associate it with. Because usually after I listen to a song, the reason I'll go back and listen to it is because I have the melody in my head. But with rap, you can only have kind of the lyrics in your head. But I usually I don't listen to a whole lot of music with like lyrics. I listen to a lot of like anime
to
soundtracks or game soundtracks.
to remedy that, you should definitely listen to Playboy Cardi because he focuses way more on the music behind the lyrics rather than the lyrics themselves. Usually his lyrics are
Yeah,
just like the same thing, but then the instrumentals and the stuff that he's putting in like ad libs
yeah,
really plays up the song itself. But the best
yeah.
way I can explain Steve Lacy is, do you listen to Tyler the Creator at all? Like some of his songs where he's like actually
Yeah,
singing and
that's
he has
yeah.
Frank Ocean.
That sounds
Like
familiar.
that's
Yeah.
kind of how Steve Lacy is.
Hmm. Yeah.
He's great. You should definitely
I'll
check him
check
out.
them out. But like like I was saying, I listen to a lot of like soundtracks from either movies or games or anime. Usually like anime or games. I don't know a whole lot of good movie soundtracks. But yeah, that's my music taste. Usually just instrumentals. I don't usually listen to a whole lot of stuff
You
with.
know you've gone too far down the rabbit hole when you start listening to anime music.
Lo-fi is
It,
good.
Lo-fi is very good.
Look,
It's nice and relaxing. I'll usually listen to it um, before bed through my speakers. It sounds really good through speakers. That's another thing. It's kind of music sounds different to me when it's kind of through speakers because instead of just being in headphones or earbuds, it's actually the sound has time to go off the walls and whatnot. And lo-fi and usually quiet music sounds really nice, as opposed to loud
Yeah,
music, which just
I
kind of shakes everything.
I used to be way off into like the whole scene. Like I knew who all the people were and stuff, but I started to really lose faith in it after I realized like everybody that makes it is just sellouts. Cause like I started to dig in and like I found their older music and they didn't start making lo-fi until they realized the money it would make them. Like before they're doing a lot of really interesting stuff and they just stopped. Like one really good example is Joji or Filthy Frank.
Yeah,
Like back before he even like stopped doing the Filthy Frank channel, his music was way better than what he does now.
yeah.
And now he just sold out to 88 Rising and it's like his music's
Hmm.
just like pop, but before he was making like really beautiful like lyrical like really like masterpieces, but now it's just like bullshit. You know what I mean? It's annoying.
Yeah, and I think a reason for that is because, like you said, since he stopped doing his filthy Frank thing, people think, well, where can I see him now? And they go to his music. So now that he kind of has that public eye on him, he can't really. I don't want to say express himself, but he has to definitely kind of play it safe, because
But yeah, I
yeah,
feel that for sure.
because
Cause
you know
like
what, when you don't have people paying attention to your music really, you can literally do anything. It's not going to make a difference. But now that he has people going off from Filthy Frank to his music, it's kind of he's had the public eye on him before, and I don't think he would like to. Uh,
renew that.
yeah, ruin it.
It pisses me off so much because like if you listen back to like World Star Money and stuff, it's like a really beautiful song, and then it has like a message within itself. And then you look now, and he's just singing about like generic shit, like I have sex, I do drugs, and like I don't mind songs like that, but that's not who he was before. And now that he realized like this gets banked, dog, like that's what he's doing.
See, that's a good thing I like about like gamer anime soundtracks is because you have the association of what happens in the game with the soundtrack. Like a really good example is there's a really good song from Chunibyo that plays whenever there's a really intimate moment. So kind of when I listen to that song, not only can I appreciate the song, it kind of brings me back to those moments in the
when you
show.
watched it.
Yeah, and it's kind of it has more than just the music to it. That's what I really like about it. And again, it conveys all that without words. Um, because
Right.
I'm a big believer in that you can convey a lot more with music than you can with words. Sure, you can kind of combine the two, but I definitely think that because that was the fundamental idea of classical music was if it didn't convey emotion, then why bother? And that's why I listen to it a lot because that's mainly what I listen to music for. I mean, sometimes it's just kind of I'll listen to just whatever's on the radio. I usually hate it or whatever, but it's good to have noise sometimes. But if I actually want to genuinely like appreciate a song, I'll usually go with something instrumental or maybe something lyrical if I really like it.
One of my favorite things about music, which is specifically why I'm so into underground hip hop and rap and stuff, is the community. Cause like when you get into mainstream, which I don't like, they're fucking assholes.
Yeah, I
Like
hate
Drake and
mainstream.
stuff, can't stand them. Like they only have like 400 followers on Instagram. So if you DM them, they talk back. So you can talk about the process behind the music. You can like talk to them as a normal person. Whereas what Drake gets like
A
what
little more
million a day,
interactive.
and he's never gonna respond. Like I've talked.
Right.
There was a guy. So there's a guy named Clout Cohen that I started listening to probably 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and he had like 20 followers on Instagram. And I talked to the dude, and now he's at. Let me see. Let me check. So I talked to this dude for like months, and we just talked like we were boys. And now he's blown up, and he produces. There's a really one of the guys who kind of made it out of the underground and like the semi-mainstream is this guy named Six Dogs, and he produces music for him, which is really cool. Oh shit, he changed his username. Oof, I don't know what it is. Fuck. Okay. This is gonna be a minute. I gotta
All
find
right.
this dude.
All right. While you do that, I got a phone call to take.
Okay. So
It is
Loss is
33 likes. There he
googling.
is.
Hip is
So
phoning.
I followed this dude when he had like 20. He's at 2,635 followers right now. And you just get to see all these dudes like grow and expand, and you're just like, I help with that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, would you like to expand on your music tastes, Stark?
Um. Okay, so I really, really do like the Grassroots and the Moody Blues as of late. Those are both bands my parents listen to. Um, and I grew up hearing the Moody Blues some of the time, but it wasn't like a regular thing. But I do remember it being like, oh, like my dad's putting in the Moody Blues mix, Um, and I enjoyed the music then, but that's mostly just because, I was a little kid. I was happy to, to like what my dad liked, right? Um, Now where I'm actually old enough to and I'm really listening to music and everything, and I'm not just listening to whatever's popular at the time. I really really like the Moody Blues. They have such an amazing cohesive sound. There will probably never be another band quite like them with their sound, if you ask me. They take rock to a whole different place. It's amazing when you can hear like a guitar riff and also an orchestra in the same song, but they match, like
True.
um it's they're not like out of whack with each other,
Yeah.
so to me it's really amazing what they have accomplished. It took too long for them to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because it's a complete sham, and everyone knows that it's a complete sham too. um
Oh, being like part of the music community, you know what's weird that I've noticed?
Hmm.
what?
80s Japanese funk music is like blowing up right now. Like there's a song called Plastic
Is it
Love.
really?
Yes, there's a song called Plastic Love by Mary Takeuchi, I want to say. And it blew up to some obnoxious
Hmm.
amount of views on YouTube. It's at 18 million.
What? Okay? Is it like a good song or is it just
Yeah, it's
trash?
really good. It's a great
Oh,
song.
okay.
But it's just weird because like why now? You know what I mean? Probably with the explosion of Japanese culture and stuff. But
Hmm.
I
like
didn't know if it
Japanese
was
city pop, 1 million views. Jazz mix, 366K, 1.5 million. And like when I started listening to it, I was like, yo, this shit's like really good.
hmm.
Sounds like something I might like. I don't know.
It's good. It's definitely not like American funk. A lot more synthesizer,
Yeah.
a lot more focus on like the meaning of the lyrics rather than like let's party. It's an interesting experience, especially because it's like kind of detached from the modern day. Because Japan's
Yeah.
kind of still reeling.
I wondered if it was just ended up being like used in a lot of meme compilations, and that's how it was getting popular.
Nah, dude, like legit. There's like there was a SoundCloud channel I followed, and they're just dedicated to remixing them.
Ah, okay.
Huh. I'll have to look into that.
Um, Now, Hip, you actually can play an instrument, if I'm not mistaken, at least one.
I can play at least I can play like one and a half.
Piano and what
Yeah.
else?
I've started picking up the flute because Mo had a flute and she never played it because she did it in like freshman year of high school and never picked it up again. So I was like, oh, I'll do it. So I'm kind of learning flute. Um, so yeah, that's what I've been doing. But I have playing piano for almost 2 years, like a year and a half. I started, uh, yeah, winter of 2016, New Year 2017, I think. Yeah, that'd be it. And then I just completely taught myself. Like we just got a keyboard, nice upright piano, kind of small, like it would fit in my room. Um, yeah, and then I just kind of taught myself. It was pretty good.
Oh, that's really impressive, actually. I teaching yourself anything is usually fairly difficult, but teaching yourself an instrument, I imagine, is even more
Hmm.
so because that is just. I was never good at any of that. I just
All right.
remember, and perhaps just because I'm not musically inclined, but like it's really difficult the amount of things that go into actually learning to play it, much less play it well.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I disagree with you, but I'll kind of give a PSA now. I was saying a little bit about this last episode, and it's that you don't need to know how to play an instrument to necessarily, or anything with music. You don't need to know how to play it or do it well to have fun with it. Because literally the
Hmm.
first 6 months of me playing piano, I knew nothing. Um, and a lot of the times it was literally just me kind of sitting down, getting familiar with the keys. Like I'd get sheets out sometimes, um, and goof off with that. But it was mainly to me the biggest thing is, are you having fun with it? And if you're not having fun with it, then don't play the instrument. Um, unless you're
Right.
unless you're obviously forced to because of school or whatever. But um, and again, I don't mean to disagree with you, but if you want to learn an instrument or maybe anything for that matter, just go. Do anything you can to go do it because literally, I just sat down and I told myself I'm going to learn how to play piano, and then a year and a half later, it's like, well, I got this down. Um, it's definitely a little bit. It's difficult. I won't say it's not difficult, but it's not as difficult as you would think as long as you have fun with it. Um, and that, and,
I can
yeah.
agree with that.
And it's definitely and this is kind of going into just anything in general, but it's when you can either play something or create something, whether with art or writing or even like music, just anything really, even with making a podcast or anything. It's kind of when you sit back and you kind of look at it, you think I've done something, I've made something, and it might not mean anything to
Hmm.
other people, but it means something to me, and that's the big thing with me and piano, and that I kind of want to get into composing a little bit, to say that I've made something because but even though if you play something of somebody else's, you kind of when you're done or even when you're still doing it, you think I'm doing something and I'm not just kind of wasting my time doing nothing.
Right.
And you can show it even if you can't show it to other people. It's kind of uh, it's very human in a way, and it makes you feel like you can do something. That was a big thing. A big thing with me learning to play the piano is after I got motivated to do that, I got motivated to do a bunch else, and it was kind of
Hmm.
it acted as just kind of this gateway of you know
A catalyst, really.
yeah, and it's kind of I'm a person, and I can do a lot of stuff. So why don't I just learn how to do some stuff? And that was the first thing I was like, well, I want to learn how to play piano because I feel that would be a good way to express myself or anything really through music, and just to have fun, like I said. So I definitely think learning a skill like that, and there's something about teaching it to yourself that's a lot more satisfying. Don't get me wrong, like lessons are fine and everything, but it's just you definitely feel like you're very capable uh, when you do something
Oh
like
yeah,
that. In my
because
experience, at
you
least.
literally taught yourself everything you know.
Yeah. I mean, of course, YouTube and everything and the internet helped me. Like that
Right.
was basically my teacher, but there was never a time where like I had someone next to me like, "Go do this." That's the main thing a problem I have with learning skills. Say instruments. That's the example we're
Hmm.
going with. It's like a big part about learning it is literally just going and then messing up as much as you can with it. Because the more when you mess up, you realize, or if you struggle, you realize kind of the little tricks they're already getting good at it.
Right.
But of course, there's kind of a foundation you need to know. Like you can't really play piano if you don't know where to like put your fingers or whatever, and you got to have all that stuff down. But once you get that down, I definitely think not having your hand held when you're learning it is a big thing because you get more comfortable with the instrument. Uh, like when I play piano, it kind of feels like this is gonna sound kind of weird, but it kind of feels like I'm either having a conversation or I'm with a friend or somebody that I know closely because it's kind of you spend a lot of time with the instrument, you get to know it, you get to know um, the little things about it. And when I play like a different piano, it kind of that feels kind of different. And it's kind of like a different conversation that's going on. I don't know if that's
Hmm.
just me, but that's definitely something I feel when I play. It just kind of feels very familiar and like I'm like I said, having a conversation of some kind.
Es-
Hmm.
I feel like piano is a really valuable instrument specifically, especially with like the advent of keyboards. Because if you know how to play
Yeah,
piano, like if you have a keyboard, you can play any instrument basically.
yeah,
Because
and
you can just
it's
get MP3s and just pitch them up and down to match the keys.
I mean, I don't have a keyboard. I have an acoustic, but
Yeah, but like if you know how to play an acoustic, you can play keyboard.
oh yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like you can make anything you want, which is amazing.
That's really good. And yeah, piano is definitely that foundation for music. And I'll admit, piano's kind of an easy instrument to learn. It's easy to pick up and kind of start playing chords, and you're like, oh, that kind of sounds nice. But it's really difficult to play the piano and put emotion into it. Um, with guitar, it's kind of everything kind of sounds very, and you can't really put too much emotion into it. At least an acoustic guitar, and maybe electric too. But don't get me wrong, you can put emotion into something like a guitar, but there's just something about piano where it's just you're very capable at mastering it. And I think there's kind of a roof you can hit with instruments like guitar, or especially like the trumpet or the flute. It's kind of you can only get so good at it. I mean, of course, there are masters of the trumpet and whatnot, but it's like with piano, it's something that you can definitely see yourself like mastering. And it's easier to kind of get yourself going in that, I'd say, with as compared to another instrument, because with guitar it's kind of you need to do special things with your hands, and with piano it's literally like it's kind of literally like toddlers can understand it. You push the key and then it makes a noise.
Right.
But I think what's really interesting to me is like there's people that are extremely good and they know all the technical aspects of the instrument, but then in my opinion, like the true masters are the people that they do that and then they figure out what new they can do with
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Like Jack
Yeah,
White
exactly.
with the guitar, and then
Yeah, that's a good example
Jimi
of
Hendrix.
like mastering the. Oh yeah. There you go.
And then like there's this guy, I don't know what his name is, but he plays the saxophone. So he got super crazy at the saxophone, and so you know how like if you squeeze your reed, it makes that squeaking noise, and like it's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
He started making music out of that. Like that's just how good he is.
Yeah.
At it.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I've gotten to a point like that with piano.
Start smashing keys,
Yeah.
cutting strings.
I mean, there's not really anything you could really do. I guess you could start, I don't know, tuning your piano in a really weird way, and then making that sound cool. But I don't
Pianos, it's a
know.
little harder because
Yeah.
it's like a pretty straightforward instrument.
Yeah, like I said, literally, you push the key and the key makes a noise. That- That's basically it. But you could take a basic concept like that, and you see people, like Gershwin, playing and composing these like masterpieces on the piano. And for some people, if they're learning piano, they look at that and they're like, "Well, I'm never gonna get there." But for me, it's like, I want to do that because that speaks a lot to me, and I want to be able to say that I've kind of mastered that. And I'm definitely getting there. I'm by no means a like a master at it, or I'm not even particularly super good. There's nothing fantastic that I'm at, but it definitely it's fun. That's all I can really
I'm
say.
glad to hear it. I played bass guitar for a while, but school got in the way.
Mm.
Let me tell you, the most fun thing
Well,
of all time is putting overdrive
good.
on an amp and then plugging in a bass guitar.
Yeah, I can't get any kind of guitar down. It kind of hurts my fingers.
Do you not have the nice long fingers for guitar hip?
Not even that. It just kind of feels awkward. Like, you kind of do it. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Mm.
You gotta wait for him to callus.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It doesn't hurt. It just feels awkward in my fingers to hold it and play like correct chords or whatever.
And you always might be like squeezing in the wrong space. It's all
Yeah.
guitar is a lot more of a personal instrument because like you have your own way of playing it. Like Jimi Hendrix strung his backwards,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Like I was talking earlier, it's kind of like having a conversation. Like it's you and the guitar.
Yeah, right.
Well,
All right,
guys,
that
we
was a
just hit an
damn
hour
good
here.
podcast.
Is there anything we want to give a shout out to before we sign off?
I'd like to give that out a shout out to Red Baron Pizza before we go.
Attaboy. It's my dinner tonight, actually.
Shout out Generalissimo. The man's just trying to slide.
I actually want to give a shout out to I'm Always Losing, because that
Oh,
was fun.
God bless.
God bless.
Just kidding, I'm satanic.
I mean,
As always, I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I hope y'all enjoyed this episode of the podcast.
bye bye.
See ya.